Tonight we tell a story of passion, risk, and a catastrophic moment when nature turned its power against one of its own caretakers. Meet Ryan Easley, a tiger trainer, wildlife enthusiast, man who believed he could tame the wild. On September 20th, 2025, at his facility in Hugo, Oklahoma, everything went horribly wrong. A tiger he had raised, a performance audience, a family watching, and in seconds, a tragedy. But this isn't simply a horror story. It is a sobering lesson for humanity. An apex predator is never truly tamed. And when we forget that, we pay the price. Ryan Easley was a man who lived every breath surrounded by danger and beauty. At 37, he owned and operated the Growler Pines Tiger Preserve near the quiet town of Hugo, deep in southeastern Oklahoma. His world revolved around tigers, creatures he once called his family. To him, their power was sacred, their presence spiritual. Easley had spent years working with big cats, carefully building a name within the tight-knit community of exotic animal trainers. According to multiple investigations, he had acquired several of his tigers from some of the most infamous names in the business: Joe Exotic and Bhagavan Doc Antley, two men whose own legacies are forever tangled in controversy and spectacle. At Growler Pines, Ryan was more than a caretaker. He was the star of the show. Dressed in his black performance gear, he'd walk into the cage with nothing but a stick, a few commands, and an unshakable confidence. He would speak to the tigers softly, and they'd seem to obey. To the crowd, it was thrilling. To his supporters, it was art, proof that man and beast could share trust and harmony. His shows were intimate, daring, and full of adrenaline. Parents brought their children to see the man who talks to tigers. His colleagues described him as gentle, disciplined, and deeply devoted. The preserve's own tribute later read, "The animals under his care were not just animals to him, but beings he formed a connection with, one rooted in respect, daily care, and love." But behind the applause, some saw a darker side, a quiet tension between devotion and delusion. Animal rights observers had long warned that Easley's shows mirrored old-style circus acts, close contact performances, small cages, and unnatural stress on the animals. To Ryan, this was dedication. To critics, it was danger disguised as entertainment. And as the curtain rose on his final performance, all those worlds, the love, the risk, the denial, would collide in one horrifying moment. This is the stage on which our tragedy plays out. It was Saturday, September 20th, 2025. The final show of the weekend was almost over at Growler Pines Tiger Preserve, Hugo, Oklahoma, a quiet corner of America where wilderness meets spectacle. Families gathered under the open sky, sunlight slanting through the wire mesh. Among them sat Ryan's wife and his young daughter. They'd seen him perform dozens of times before. To them, this was routine. Their father, their husband, doing what he loved. Ryan walked confidently into the enclosure, microphone in hand, speaking softly to the crowd about tiger behavior, body language, and respect. Inside the ring with him was a tiger he'd raised from a cub, one he trusted completely. Their bond, he once said, was unbreakable. But in the world of apex predators, trust is never guaranteed. As the audience leaned forward, Ryan gave a simple hand signal, the same he'd used 1,000 times. The tiger crouched. Then suddenly, something changed. A low growl rippled through the air. Not part of the act. The tiger's ears pinned back. A tail flicked once, twice. Then, silence. In an instant, instinct took over. The 400-pound cat lunged. According to Choctaw County Sheriff Terry Park, it happened toward the end of a show. No one knows, other than God above, what made the tiger attack the handler. The animal clamped its massive jaws around Ryan's neck and shoulder. The same man who had bottle-fed it, trained it, trusted it. Witnesses say the attack was so swift, so violent, that Ryan likely died instantly. The audience erupted in screams. Some fled, others froze. The unimaginable was happening just feet away. Ryan's wife rushed forward, shouting his name, her voice cracking through the chaos. She and staff members struggled desperately to pull the tiger away. the same tiger that had once nuzzled her husband affectionately. Deputies and paramedics arrived within minutes, sirens slicing through the Oklahoma air. But when they entered the enclosure, Ryan Easley was already gone. The tiger was secured. The crowd dispersed in shock, and an eerie silence settled over the preserve. A silence no applause could ever fill again. A moment of pride, of purpose, turned to horror. A lifetime of control, undone in seconds. What triggered the attack? A flash of movement? A noise? An instinct awakened? We may never know. Even the sheriff could only call it unexplainable. But one truth remains. A tiger's nature cannot be rewritten. No matter how many years of training, no matter how deep the bond, beneath the fur, the muscle, and the illusion of trust lies an ancient power, unpredictable and absolute. Ryan Easley believed he was performing with a friend. The tiger simply remembered it was wild. And in that single terrible moment, the line between man and nature vanished forever. For Ryan's wife, the moment her husband stepped into that enclosure was just another Saturday afternoon. She had seen him perform hundreds of times, always confident, always in control. But that day, she witnessed the unimaginable. Her husband's life taken in an instant by the very creature he loved most. For his daughter, still so young, the memory of her father's last show will never fade. What began as a day filled with laughter and pride ended with panic, blood, and disbelief. The cost was not just one man's life. It was trauma, grief, and the shattering of illusions. The illusion that love can conquer instinct, that performance can replace respect. The Easley family's home in rural Oklahoma, once filled with the sounds of roaring cats and Ryan's confident voice, is now quiet. His wife faces the haunting paradox of mourning both her husband and the animal that took him. Because she knows Ryan would never have wanted that tiger destroyed. For the facility, the tragedy changed everything. Tours were immediately suspended. The gates that once welcomed families for photo sessions and educational demonstrations were locked. Signs now read, "Closed until further notice." Investigators arrived, cameras flashing, questions swirling. Were there safety barriers? Were rehearsals supervised? Were state protocols followed? The Choctaw County Sheriff confirmed that the preserve would face a full review. The community of Hugo, small, quiet, and proud of its local attractions, was suddenly thrust into national headlines. Local residents spoke of their shock. Ryan wasn't just a performer, he was a neighbor, a volunteer, a friend who helped raise funds for animal feed and sanctuary maintenance. For many, it felt as if a piece of the town's spirit had been ripped away. But the ripples went far beyond Oklahoma. Across the United States and around the world, advocates for animal welfare reignited debates about human-wildlife interaction, the ethics of private ownership, and the thin line between conservation and exploitation. For the animals themselves, questions hung heavy in the air. What would happen to the tiger that killed Ryan? To the others living in cages nearby, pacing restlessly behind bars, conditioned for performance? Some saw the tragedy as proof that captivity had pushed these creatures to their breaking point, a product of stress, boredom, and unnatural confinement. Others argued it was simply nature doing what nature does, no matter how loving the trainer. One life was lost that day, but perhaps many more were altered. The preserve's employees found themselves out of work, traumatized, carrying guilt and fear. Visitors who once sought thrill now carried nightmares. Parents struggled to explain to their children why the man who talked to tigers would never speak again. And somewhere in a steel-barred enclosure, the tiger that ended it all still breathes. The same steady rhythm of a heart that does not know guilt, only instinct. Ryan Easley's story is no longer just a personal tragedy. It has become a symbol of the limits of human control, of the cost of our fascination with the wild, of ambition's fragile edge. It reminds us that when we turn nature into a spectacle, when we cage its power for our applause, we are not taming it. We are merely delaying the moment it reminds us who truly holds dominion. In the quiet aftermath of Growler Pines, the applause has faded, the cages stand still, and the world is left to ask the question that will echo for years. Was this simply an accident, or was it the inevitable price of trying to own the wild? So what can we learn? What should we take away from this tragedy? When we force apex predators into human performance situations, we meddle with instinct. The outcome can be fatal. Ryan believed he had a bond with his tigers. He may have, but respect does not mean control. He gave shows. He made the tiger perform. The beast gave the ultimate reminder of who is really in charge. Many facilities keep big cats in conditions which may charge them with stress, restrict their freedom, expose them to unnatural stimuli. Investigations found that Ryan's earlier business had been accused of mistreatment of tigers for circus acts. When we buy a ticket, we may be complicit in risk, both for humans and animals. What seemed like a thrilling show ended in death, horror, and trauma. Apex predators have evolution on their side. Claws, jaws, hide, instincts. We ignore that at our peril. If you walk away from this video remembering only one thing, let it be this: the wild cannot be domesticated without consequences. On the day Ryan Easley died, a performance ended not in applause, but in silence. His story is terrifying, not because a tiger killed a human, that has happened before, but because the setting was a show that we invite, a show that we believe we control. Be critical of how wild animals are used for entertainment. Support accredited sanctuaries that prioritize the animal's welfare over spectacle. And above all, respect the boundary between human curiosity and animal instinct. Ryan believed he was working for conservation, for connection. He loved those tigers, but love does not erase danger. Love must include respect for nature's laws. May his story serve as a warning and a memory. The final curtain has fallen, but the echoes remain. If you found this story compelling, please like, subscribe, and share. Let us learn. Let us remember. Let us change.